if you've had a frustrating day, if you are in the hunt for the Players' Championship, if you think the points matter, because you never know when it's going to be 1 point that prevents you from getting a bye or 2 buys, or in Danny's case, a spot in the Players' Championship.
And both players going to lay out their opening hands. Similar decks, similar sleeves, similar records. Jessup going to mulligan very quickly, not like what he saw. So see if Danny can find a better hand here. Jessup, a player from the New York area, 23 years old. One invitational top 8. That was season 4 of last year. We lost in the finals to Dylan Donegan. 4 Open Series top 8s with 1 win. Former lacrosse player, New York sports fanatic. It's easy to be a Yankees fan. Easy. Real fans are Mets fans. And a stock manager by day.
Some shared experience here with that Long Island crew. Danny, his brother Andrew, and Jim Davis were all competitive athletes at one point in their life. Yep. Different sports, but they all have that in common.
They love to compete. They do it now by casting spells. And they're all quite good at it, too. Jessup, we're going to see a lot of him during Season 3. He's already told me and many other people he's going to be traveling to basically all the events. He wants to get this thing locked away.
It's going to be hard to lock it up.
Yeah.
Especially if he's getting competition from, Joe Lissette and Ross Miriam, if they're showing up to all these events as well. But I think Season 3 is Danny's best opportunity.
We'll start things off with a Caves of Koilos here for Silberman. Jessup will play a Sansep Citadel. We're underway here in round number 6. There's a Windswept Heath, past that turn back. It's going to be slow and steady here. A Temple of Silence here for Jessup. Top card, we'll see where it goes. We'll go to the bottom. Now, a Thoughtseize, get an idea of what Silberman's working with. You see a Courser Crew Fix, a Siege Rhino. Let's make it 2 Coursers, along with a Den Protector, an Abzan Charm, and a Plains. How to poke a hole in this hand?
Essentially impossible, and with Danny on 5 cards, the game's going to take a long time regardless. I think that you just have to take Den Protector to hands like this. There's no way to poke a hole. Eventually, that Den Protector is going to get back whatever you killed or Thoughtseized away anyway.
It is interesting to note that Silberman doesn't have access to double green mana at this point. Has a Caves of Koilos and a Windswept Heath on the battlefield, a Plains in hand. I was going to be interested in taking that card that Danny selected in Abzan Charm. Because if Phil says, all right, I'll play a Morph, which is Den Protector, and then it's killed, might be doing okay. So we'll see. Phil very quickly sacrificing 2 Windswept Heath, however, as he drew 1 for the turn, 2 Forest. That means a Courser's on the way.
And this is the high upside play, I guess, that Danny went for. If he feels like the only way he can win is by Phil stalling on lands and not being able to cast a Courser, then Abzan Charm makes sense.
We'll see the top card of Silberman's deck here in just a moment, given that there is a Courser on the battlefield, and that is a Hero's Downfall. Jessup going to draw. He'll play a Plains, pass the turn back over to Silberman. He'll draw the Hero's Downfall. Top card of the deck is a Sansep Citadel. In comes the Courser. The follow-up is another Courser. And now here's a Citadel, so 2 triggers, Silberman up to 20. Take a look at the top card now. It's a copy of Windswept Heath. Now here's an Abzan Charm from Jessup. So he'll pay 2 life to draw 2 cards. Gonna try to undo some of this mulligan. He'll untap those 3 lands, take a draw step. Picked up a copy of Hero's Downfall.
Unfortunately, right now for Danny, removal spells are pretty poor because he can't. The second Courser doesn't mean very much. It's the first one that does all the work. But this would not be a bad spot for Languish.
He'll play a land. He'll play a Siege Rhino. And that's okay, too. Not great, but it's fine. Bioblight on top of Silberman's deck now. Triggered him the Coursers here. Silberman going to gain 2 life from playing the Windswept Heath. Hero's Downfall will take care of the Rhino. Coursers are coming to the red zone. That'll be Silberman's turn with Bobblight on top of the deck, though I wouldn't be surprised if he shuffles that away thanks to the Windswept Heath that's on the battlefield.
Yeah, at least wants the information to see if Danny randomly plays something to cooperate a morph or something like Fleece Mane Lion. But I think if Danny doesn't produce a target for it this turn, Phil's going to shuffle that away and get a new draw.
Jessup does have a copy of Nissa in hand. So we might have the Vastwood Seer in just a moment searching up a forest. Maybe not. Unclear which route Jessup wants to take on this turn. Given the mulligans he's had to take this game, he's working with some limited resources.
And again, the individual removal spells have very little value to Danny right now. Because unless he can kill both coursers, there's no point in killing one of them.
Basic for forest has been found by Nissa. We'll see what's next here for Jessup. He'll play a Temple for now. Take a look at the top card. That one's going to stay on top pretty quickly. Nissa, however, currently outclassed by what's on the battlefield from Silberman. See if Phil wants to actually draw the Bioblight. Looks like the answer is no. He'll lose one, then gain two, thanks to coursers being on the battlefield. This is all taking place in the upkeep before he does draw a card. So he's simply shuffling away Bioblight because he doesn't want to draw that at this point. With like maybe something a little more higher impact.
Interesting that Phil is still able to fit in Bioblight into a deck like this where you're playing so many more forests because of Nissa.
Just a one of.
Yeah.
Languish on top of the deck now. Here's Thoughtseize. Just about to show his hand. Elspeth, Abzan Charm, Hero's Downfall, and a forest. Elspeth, yeah, it's gone. No surprise there. Here comes coursers. Perhaps it's Siege Rhino time now for Silberman. He'll go with a morph. You have to imagine his Den Protector.
I think that he wants to play a morph this turn to have the opportunity to get back a removal spell and kill Nissa before Danny can play land number 7. Because a 4/4 is actually pretty powerful against Phil's board right now. And Phil also doesn't want to pull the trigger on Languish that he's drawing next turn because he loses all of his creatures as well.
Looks like Siege Rhino was the draw here for Jessup.
And Danny's hand is removal anyway. So it's not like there's a lot of value to get the Siege Rhino out ahead of schedule because it's just going to die.
Sure.
So make sure you take care of Nissa. The threats you have in play already necessitate a removal spell, and then the coast will be clear for your Siege Rhino down the line.
See what's next here for Jessup. He's got the ability to play 2 spells in 1 turn with Hero's Downfall and Abzan Charm, or he can just play a Siege Rhino. Looks like he's just going to pass. Den Protector's going to unmegamorph. It'll get a counter, of course, become a 3/2. Return Hero's Downfall. Languish will be the draw. We'll see the top card of the deck is now a Temple of Silence. Time to attack. No great blocks here.
Yeah, he can chump block essentially. Can't block the Den Protector. If he tries to make a move with Abzan Charm here to block, then
a complete disaster.
slow and steady for Phil. I mean, he's really done a good job of kind of maximizing the edge he's gotten out of a mulligan to 5 versus his 7 cards. Hasn't tried to play too fast of a game. Slowly but surely grinding Danny down.
Yep. There's Hero's Downfall and Den Protector. Yeah, now Danny's in the tough position of, am I supposed to jump block or not? How am I supposed to value my Nissa here? Valuing it pretty highly.
And look how good that sequencing was for Phil from the previous turn with the Den Protector. That Den Protector got a Hero's Downfall the same way that a Siege Rhino would have.
Yep.
But he also got to be more efficient with his mana and get back a removal spell for his trouble as well.
Courser will trigger twice from the Temple. Top card of the deck right now is a 3rd Courser. See if Silberman wants to leave that on top or bottom. I had a feeling it would go downstairs. Take a look at the top card now. Bile Blight. It's back. The one of. And now here's Hero's Downfall. Take care of Nissa. No Urberg on the battlefield, so Phil will have to take 1 to cast it. He's down to 22. 22-5 in favor of Silberman here. Pretty good lead. Remember, Silberman does have a copy of Languish in hand, and is currently not playing a role in things. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the first card sideboarded out by both
Yeah,
players.
it seems not great in this matchup. They all have the same creatures, and it doesn't even guarantee that it catches you up when you're losing, because often you're losing to Elspeth or Siege Rhino.
Here's Abzan Charm. Jessup going to go down to 3. He'll get 2 cards deeper. Time to untap and take a draw step. Hero's Downfall is what he's found. Jessup always been comfortable playing Abzan. Made a lot of deep runs of the Open Series with it, including his finals loss in Season 4 to Dylan Donegan. It's going to go with Siege Rhino, it appears. So he's going to go up to 6. Silberman going to go down to 19. Sandsep Citadel passed that turn back. Siege Rhino going to try to stabilize things, but you also know that your opponent is drawing a Bile Blight. Siege Rhino on top of the deck. There's a land. Trigger the 2 coursers. Silberman up to 21. It's a good place to attack. There's a block. Bile Blight will shrink the Rhino enough that courser will kill it. 2 damage will come across. Jessup going to go down to 4. Put him down to 1. Facing a Siege Rhino on top of the deck. I can't imagine that Danny has a way out of this situation.
I think Phil was trying to hold back the Rhino for a little bit there out of respect for a possible sweeper out of Danny's deck. But now with another Rhino on top, just make it beat the board on the top of your deck. Probably impossible to do both.
And it is. Phil Silberman going to win game number 1 here over Danny Jessup. The Abzan Control Mirror goes to the player on the left to begin things. As we get ready to take a look at the sideboards, their main decks are pretty similar. I wouldn't be surprised if their sideboards are too. We'll start with Jessup's, which you have in front of you.
2 copies of Duress, 2 copies of Drown in Sorrow, 2 copies of Ration Cleric, a Murderous Cut, and a Ajani Mentor of Heroes, a Read the Bones, a Dromoka's Command, a Glare of Heresy, an Ultimate Price, an Ugin the Spirit Dragon, a Tassiker the Golden Fang, and a Silence the Believers. For this matchup, what I'm interested in is more removal and a more powerful top end. Especially cards like Silence the Believers, which can often catch multiple threats, are excellent here. Read the Bones and the Planeswalkers like Ugin and Ajani. Additional spot removal is fine. You may see something like Glare of Heresy come in as an answer to Elspeth. You may see something like Murderous Cut come in because 1 Delve spell will be pretty efficient, but the Planeswalkers especially and Silence the Believers seem like the superstar cards for the matchup.
2 Drown in Sorrow, 3 Erishan Clairs, 2 Read the Bones, 2 Duress, a Dromoka's Command, an Ultimate Price, a Murderous Cut, a Tragic Arrogance, a brand new one from Magic Origins, along with an Ugin the Spirit Dragon and a Garruk Apex Predator. Phil can go pretty big here.
Yeah, same story here. You know, the Planeswalkers, the 2 copies of Read the Bones, and then additional removal as he sees appropriate.
Some good options all the way around.
Solid options, and that's pretty common for this kind of deck. You see a lot of one-ofs in these sideboards, and often it's because the cards kind of do double duty. Some are good for some matchups and not others, but you know, you see one of this removal spell, one of that removal spell, one of another removal spell. There's a lot of matchups where you can bring all of them in, but some matchups where one can be good and not the other.
Well, these players will shuffle up here for game number 2. A place that you can play Abzan Control a couple weeks from now, if you are a Siege Rhino fan, is at Star City Games Regionals. It's taking place on Pro Tour weekend. You see the playmat that is available here. We'll bring up our locations first so that you guys can see exactly where it's going to be. Plenty of awesome locations available.
Exactly. You can head over to StarCityGames.com/regionals for more information right now. This is occurring during Pro Tour weekend, so if you're not qualified for the Pro Tour and in the United States, you can check out the regional championships closest to you. If you're interested in qualifying for the Invitational, grinding Open Series points, or just playing in a large cash standard tournament, Regionals is the tournament for you.
And of course, the playmat that is available, free and exclusive to our first 200 players, play on Ellen DeGeneres' fantastic Oscars photo. StarCityGames.com/regionals, August 1st. Plant your flag. Head to that website for more information. I'll probably be battling. I don't know if you will be.
No, I don't think so. The problem is now that I moved to Los Angeles, the regional is a little bit further away for me to get to. And I got some testing to do for some events that I'm actually participating
Yes,
in.
like Grand Prix San Diego.
Which actually is standard. So that is an incentive to go down there.
Okay.
Play a little bit. Yeah. Got my Tarkus commands over at the dealer booth this morning.
Smart.
So I'm ready to go.
Ready to burn someone down?
Yep.
Yeah, no surprise there. You are who you are. I saw you battling last night on Magic Online.
Yep.
Those Rift Bolts got to go.
They are horrendous.
They're really bad.
They are horrendous.
I like a lot of... Also, I don't understand why you're only playing 3 Kurt Apes, but...
I only had 3 on the account and I refused to buy one. Same reason there's no Scalding Tarn in the deck.
I see we're taking the testing for the tournament real serious. That's good.
That's why that's why there's not a 13th fetch land in the deck either.
I only have 3 as a great answer.
I thought I had 4 because I know that I played a Kurt Ape standard deck, you know, during original Ravnica.
Sure.
And there was definitely 4 Kurt Apes in that deck, so I don't know what happened, but there's only 3 on my account.
3 is the only reason I'm playing this many is because I have this many is the best possible answer.
Well, I was going to my account and I'm like, I want to play 4 Kurt Apes in this deck, and then I had 3, and then I was like, 1 Lavamancer is in a bunch of modern decks. Like 1 Lavamancer is probably fine here, you know, plug in 1. Lavamancer's not been great so far.
yeah.
Probably should just be a 4th Kurt Ape, but to circle back, I don't have a 4th Kurt Ape.
Yep, and that's really the problem.
And I think on Magic Online, they're like 7 cents or something like that. Like just a cost I'm not willing to pay.
You are a delight. You really are. I must say. It's just not a cost I'll pay. Can't do it.
Yep, cannot do it.
Danny doesn't want to keep his hand. He's going to mulligan to 5 again. Not the best time to do so. Not to say that there ever really is a great time, but now's not great. You can see a little bit of frustration for him. I think this matchup where you can take 1 mulligan comfortably and be okay.
There's so many. I actually don't think a mulligan to 5 is the end of the world in this matchup. It's not good, but there's so many cards like Abzan Charm and Nissa to recoup the cards and get the ball rolling. And then eventually the game becomes about cards like Elspeth and Ugin. They become about the haymakers, you know?
Sure.
So you don't like mulliganing to 5, but at the end of the game, it wasn't, if you hopped into that game at the end of it, would you have looked at Danny's board in hand and said, clearly this guy's mulligan to 5?
No.
There's some matchups where you can really tell, but I don't think the Abzan Mirror match is one of them. I read the bones here, and Abzan Charm there, a Courser reveals a land over here, and all of a sudden, I have enough resources to work with.
And Jessup going to take a look at 5 cards now. It is coming down out here in Chicago.
Yes, it is really raining.
What
If you hear that noise in the background.
They say raining cats and dogs. Is that they say when it rains hard?
Yeah, yes.
I can tell you don't approve of that.
It's just, you know,
Down to 4 goes Jessup.
pretty common expression. I'm surprised you needed clarification there.
Well, it's not one that I ever use.
Yeah.
So I just want, and it's not one that, you know, many of my friends ever really say.
Right, it's a phrase used by elementary school teachers when addressing children and the elderly. It's not a term that the average person uses in their day-to-day life.
So there you go. That's why I
Right.
wanted to make sure. Because if I get
But
it wrong,
once you were in elementary school and you probably had a teacher say that to you.
but if I get it wrong, you're going to just jump all over me.
Sure.
So I'd rather play it safe instead of just being made
That's
fun
fair.
of,
That's fair.
since I know what you're going to do. Just like going to look at 4 cards. That's a confident keep, confident playing of Caves of Koilos. This is a Temple of Malady from Phil Silberman. Top card, gonna stay on top. Jessup will draw. He found land number 2. It's a temple. It is unclear where it's gonna go. It'll go on the bottom. To Silberman we go. Windswept Heath, back to Jessup. 3rd land, has Abzan Charm in hand. Don't know what he's so upset about.
Undoing one of the 3 mulligans.
Yeah. Basically a perfect hand.
Yeah.
I think he's got a Siege Rhino too.
I think he may have 2.
Yeah. It's a pretty easy game. So we're going to search for basic planes with that Windswept Heath. He's down to 19. He'll draw for the turn. Picked up a Temple of Silence. Courser time, perhaps? That'll be Nissa. That'll search for a basic forest. See the use of the checklist card there from Phil. There's his basic forest. I believe Mirage.
That is, yes, Mirage.
Yes.
Along with his planes.
Still got it.
I really like the checklist cards for the planeswalkers because there aren't that many of them and they're color coded, so it's very easy to tell from a distance.
Very clean.
As opposed to the Innistrad ones where there was just a lot of them and not really designated.
Obsun Charm here for Jessup. He'll pay 2 life to draw 2 cards. Looking to undo some of these mulligans he's taking. He'll draw again. Temple of Silence. Looks like he has 2 of those.
Watching this deck in action, it's the Nissa Courser combo is really nice because you don't like playing Courser on the 3rd turn in a lot of matchups because it'll just die and you don't get a chance to land. So being able to play Nissa on 3 so you do something with your 3 mana and then gives yourself an opportunity to play Courser on 4, get a look at a land, and then play one out of your hand even if you miss. It's a subtle thing, but that sequencing is very nice for the deck.
Here's a Temple now. You saw Jessup resolve Read the Bones. A bunch of scrying taking place this turn. Here comes Nissa. Jessup going to fall to 12. Silberman going to play a force. And a Siege Rhino going to bring Jessup down to 9. Silberman up to 22. Jessup will untap. He's had some time to draw some cards. Now he's underneath some pressure. Does have a copy of Elspeth in hand. And it looks like he's got enough cards to function now.
Again, if you look over at Danny's hand and board, it doesn't look like someone who mulliganed to 4. That's the nature of this matchup. It's slow, and there's just a lot of 2-for-1s hanging out.
And he's down to 8 now. He'll search up the plains. Perhaps a Rhino here. Indeed. So Jessup will gain some life. Silberman will lose some. Murderous Cut's going to take care of the Siege Rhino. Love the fact that he's playing 1 Murderous Cut in this deck. And Danny's always played 1.
Yeah. Not having 1 Murderous Cut in the 75 is nonsense.
Yeah. There's a hero's downfall. In comes Nissa. This is about to be land number 5. We'll just see which one it's going to be for Silberman. He's got a few options. So go with Temple of Silence. Top card to the bottom.
It's especially pronounced for a deck that often struggles to play 2 spells in 1 turn, even when it gets to 4 or 5 mana. Being able to kill a creature for 1 mana is already so powerful, and this deck especially needs plays like that to be able to transition in a late game where it has a huge edge.
Jessup does have another Siege Rhino in hand. He'll go that route, up to 12. Silberman down to 15. Elspeth the draw here for Phil. That's a big one. There's a plains. Here is Elspeth. It's going to minus. And now all of a sudden, Danny's got to worry about Phil from 2 different angles. 1, there's Elspeth out there. But 2, there's a Nissa that could flip next turn.
Yeah, he's sort of getting beat on both fronts, the beat down front and the control front. In the whole game, Phil's answered Danny's play, hit him for some damage, and then forced a response out of Danny. And you can only take so many turns like that.
Silberman's been in the driver's seat all match long. He's only a few more attacks away from winning this one. Again, a player we have seen make top 8s before, and he's in commanding lead at this point. And Jessup is trying to play catch-up. Looks like he's going to play his own Elspeth. Some soldier tokens are coming. We'll head back to Phil Silberman. He'll take a draw step here. Temple of Malady. He'll start by playing a land. That's going to flip Nissa. It's into its new form. And we don't get to see this all that often. It's going to go up. Reveal the top card, puts a land on the battlefield. Elspeth's going to go up as well, so 3 soldiers on the way. And now, Garrick, oh boy, Garrick Apex Predator is going to take care of Elspeth. And now there are 3 relevant planeswalkers on the battlefield. Evaded Retribution, anyone?
Not in the 75. There is an Ugin.
Okay, the ultimate planeswalker.
But he's got to find it pretty soon because
Yeah.
Phil's board generates an instrumental advantage pretty fast.
There is Garrick Apex Predator. Delivered an RKO to Elspeth last turn. And then Elspeth itself,
Seamless integration.
you can't, it's ruined if you mention it. Just let it be.
Okay.
Just let it be for Randy.
Let it breathe a little bit.
Let it breathe. I don't have a wrestling reference for Nissa because it's new, so I got to work on that.
Okay.
Here's 3 mana. Oh, Morph. Probably Den Protector. Here come the soldier tokens. Yeah, that's a quick block. Pass the turn back. Phil gets to untap. He gets to take a draw. It's a forest. And he gets to activate 3 planeswalkers this turn. He'll start by playing a tempo, however. Top card to the bottom. Nissa, that's going up. Reveal that top card. Urborg, come on in. Elspeth, take up 3 soldiers. What do we got for Garrick?
It's going down the line.
Yep. It's a good way to make sure you don't forget. But you said it. Ugin can turn it all around.
Well, it gets back to neutral at least. But Phil...
But that can turn it around.
Yeah. I like Phil going ahead and drawing a card every turn with Nissa.
Me
It's
too.
at least some insurance policy in case Ugin occurs that he's seen some extra cards.
Let's see what Danny wants to return. He's got 2 rhinos and Elspeth and a murderous cut in the graveyard. You know, I imagine that if he had the option, he'd like to return a land.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't think he has land number 8. He's got a murderous cut here to take care of the token.
This at least allows Den Protector to take care of Elspeth if Phil has nothing.
Yeah, which is pretty nice. He has Jamoka's command, however. Still, the clock is not fast enough that if Jessup can find an 8th land here and then peel Ugin, he can turn it all around. And he's just going to extend the hand. Looks like no land there. So that's going to get the job done for Phil Silberman. He wins this match over Danny Jessup. 2-0. The Obs on control mirror again goes to the player on the left, just like we saw last time it happened. Silberman, he moves on to 6-0. Jessup, we can't forget, mulligan 5 and 4 of those games. Still competitive, though.
Yeah, 5 mulligans in 2 games, but Danny was able to play. And I think that Phil did a very good job of stretching out the game and really trying to magnify